Hello everyone, this video is about decimals. So let us understand what are decimals or decimal numbers. The numbers represented in decimal forms are known as decimal numbers or simply decimals. One example is this number 275.35. Now there are different parts of a decimal number. The numbers before the point, that is 275, are the whole part, and the numbers after the point, which is 35, are the decimal part. Naming a decimal number. So the above number will be named as 275.35. So one thing you have to notice here is that all the numbers after the point will be named according to the digits and not as a whole. So the above number will be named as 275.35 and not as 275.35. We can represent any decimal number by using this table, which is your place value chart table. All the numbers before the point will be arranged in this format, and all the numbers after the decimal point will be arranged in this format. So the first digit before the point will go in the 1 place, then in 10 place, then in 100 place, and so on. Similarly, all the digits, the first digit after the decimal point will go in the 10 place, 100 place, 1000, and so on. Let us look at one example. So in order to represent this number on a place value chart, we will follow this format. So we say that the first digit before the point is in the 1 place, next 10 place, 100 place, and 1000 place. Similarly, after the point, the first digit is in the 10 place and 6 place. So this is the way to represent a decimal number in a place value chart. Now look at this number 456. So these are the decimal part of the decimal number. Now one thing you have to understand from this table is that all the numbers before the point has to be multiplied with multiples of 10, and all the numbers after the point has to be divided by the multiples of 10. So 4 is in the 10 place, so it will be divided by 10. 5 is in the 100 place, so it will be divided by 100. 6 is in the 1000 place, which will be divided by 1000. For this part, we will understand in the next slide. Expanded form of decimal number. Now, you have to write this number in the expanded form. So now, like I've explained here, all the numbers on the right side after the point will be divided by multiples of 10. The opposite thing happens for the number which is before the point. 6 is in the 1 place, so it will be multiplied with 1. 5 is in the 10 place, so it will be multiplied with 10. 4, it is in the 100 place, so it will be multiplied with 100. 3 is in the 1000 place, so it will be multiplied by 1000. So these are just the opposite of the numbers which is on the right side, which is after the point. 1, it is in the 10 place, so it will be divided by 10. 2 will be divided by 100, and 3 will be divided by 1000. So this is the expanded form of this decimal number. Now there are two types of decimals: like decimals, unlike decimals. Decimals having the same number of digits after the decimal point are called like decimals. For example is this numbers. So all these numbers have the same number of digits after the point, so they are like decimals. Unlike decimals, on the other hand, doesn't have the same number of digits after the point. Example is this: it has 2 digits, it has 3 digits, and this has 4 digits. Now we can convert an unlike decimal to like decimal by simply following this rule. The rule is unlike decimal can be converted into like decimal by adding required number of zeros in the decimal place, and this does not affect any change in the value of the decimal. Now this one is very important. Does not affect any change in the value of the decimal. So if we add 0 to any number after the point, that is after the point, this will not affect any change in the value of that decimal number. So example is this number, it has 3 digit and it has 4 digit. So if we add 1 0 to this number, then these two numbers will become like decimals. So if we add 1 0, now these two numbers will become like decimals, and in the process we can say that this number that we have obtained after adding 0 is the same as the previous number, because the rule says that it does not affect any change in the value of the decimals. Comparison of decimal numbers. To compare, we first have to make the two numbers, decimal numbers, liked, then we can compare the digits. So these two decimal numbers, they are unliked, so we can add 0 to the first decimal number and then make them like decimals. So these two are like decimals, so now we can compare the digits before and after the point to decide which one is bigger. So let us look at the digits before and after the point. Before the point we have 1 here, here is also 1. After the point we have 1 here, and on this number we have 0. Since 1 is bigger than 0, we can conclude that the first number 1.1 is bigger than 1.01. So this is a way to compare decimal numbers. One more example. This number and this number, it has 3 digits and it has only 2 digits. We can add 0 to this number and make them like decimals. So now these two numbers are like decimals. So now we can start comparing the digits before and after. So before we have 2 and 2, which are same. After the point we have 4 and 4, then we have 5 and 5. Next we have 6 and 0. 6 is greater than 0, so we can conclude that this number is greater than this number. Let us solve some problem from the exercise 3.1. Question number 1a. So you have to write the whole part and the decimal part. We know that the numbers before the point are the whole part, so 14 is the whole part, and the numbers after the point are the decimal part, so 1 to 7 is the decimal part. Number 2a, you have to write this number in word. So 121.123. So you don't have to write 123, but you have to write 1, 2 and 3 according to the digit. 3a, you have to represent this in a place value chart. So we can do this by following this chart which we have discussed. So we can take an example of this chart. We can follow this chart to represent a decimal number in a place value chart. So following the chart, we see that 4 goes in the 1 place, 1 goes in the 10 place, and so on. One more question, question number C of the same quotient. 4 in the 1 place, 1 in the 10 place, 100 and 1000. After the point, this 4a. So you have to write this number in expanded form. So like we have discussed in the previous session, 4 into 100, since it is in the 100 place, 5 into 10, 7 into 1 plus 7 divided by 10, 1 divided by 1000 and 3 divided by 1 divided by 100 and 3 divided by 1000. So this is the expanded form of this decimal number. Number 5a, 22 is 40 and we have 7 which is not divisible by 2 which is smaller, so we can bring down after adding 0 here. So the final answer you will get 20.85. Another question from the same quotient. So this can be written in this format: 43 divided by 16. So the division does not end here, it goes up to this. So the remainder you will get 0 and the quotient you will get 2.6875. Question number 6c. In this question you have to write in fractional form. So this can be written as 17249 divided by 1000, because after the point we have 3 digits, so it will be divided by 1000. This will be number 7, 7c, 418 divided by 100. So in this question you have to reduce this in the lowest form. So you have to keep on dividing until and unless you get a fraction which we cannot divide anymore. So after dividing by 5 you will get this. So this cannot be divided anymore, so this is the lowest form of this. Similarly, number D, 7D. So this can be written as divided by 100, then you can divide by 5, you can divide by 2, then again you can divide by 2, which will give you 27:25. Now this fraction you cannot divide anymore, so this is the lowest form of this decimal number. In 8a you have to make them like decimal. So like we have discussed in the previous session, you can add as many zeros as you want to make two decimal unlike decimals into like decimals. So adding zeros to this will give you 35.100. So these two decimals are like. Similarly, in number B, you can add zeros to 13.21 to make them like decimals. Number 9a, in this question you have to put an arrow in that direction to show which one is bigger. So if you compare these two numbers, the first digit before the point is 2, next we have 1, next we have 3, after the point we have 1, but here it has 1 digit, it has 2 digits, so you can add 1 0 like here. If you add 1 0, then 0 will be less than 5, so obviously this number will be greater than this number. Number B, comparing the digits 7 and 7, next 4 and 4, next 1 and 3, next 1 and 1. So we say that after the point we have 2 and here we have 1. So it is sufficient, in no need to put zeros, it is sufficient to show that this number is bigger than this if you get a digit which is bigger than the other digit. So 2 is bigger than 1, so we can conclude bigger than this. In number 10a, you have to write these numbers, the given numbers, in first ascending and then in descending. So the correct order will be this: ascending. So descending means just the opposite of this. So this one will come first, next this one, so it will go on. this one, next is this one, next is this one, okay, last will be this one. So ascending and descending. So now 17 is bigger, 17 is bigger than 17.1 is bigger than 17.4, less than 19, 19 is less than 35. See the numbers before the point. Looking the numbers before the point, 19 is smaller than 35, 35 is smaller than 41, 41 is smaller than 48. So this is the ascending order. Next, descending will be just the opposite. All the numbers at the back will come in the front. So later we'll be discussing in the next video